Hello, everyone. So to kind of start this week, the first question we got is, what, if anything, makes the city vulnerable with regard to climate change? So some of the things I came up with were large population. It's a coastal city, high temperatures, and then in the winter, it gets a lot of flooding. So to kind of expand on that, it being a coastal city would make it um, more vulnerable to like flooding and the rising sea when the ice caps melt. And then the high temperatures in the summer is absolutely brutal. And then we'll get to more of the business as usual, kind of about that topic as well. The large population also makes it extremely vulnerable because it's hard to educate everyone on all that kind of stuff. And then with the large population, you get a lot of greenhouse gases and burning of fossil fuels to get the energy so people can go to work and all that stuff. And then kind of contrasting the high heat in the summer, in Los Angeles and like Southern California in general, just being just have been living there. Um, Recently, it gets very rainy, and there's been a lot of flooding, and I kind of talked about that with like the LA's response to like capturing that fresh water so we can use it for drinking. And then moving on to the second question, if LA doesn't change the way it's doing, we can see an increase in temperatures. And then kind of on that, the environmental injustices, which will be in the article that I'm linking, kind of the underprivileged areas. And we kind of learned about it last week as well, as we see an increase in temperatures in those underdeveloped areas because they are producing more um, emissions, and then they don't have um, the infrastructure to kind of get cooler, like planting trees and the sidewalks and all that stuff. And then something about the city's culture that can have a response to climate change is that, like, kind of a positive and negative is the Hollywood social media culture. A lot of people are flocking to LA, which is making it more of a problem essentially, and people aren't really talking about impacts to climate change that much. So the influencers and a lot of people moving to the cities kind of making it a problem, and it's going to be harder to respond and make those changes to climate change. So it'll be an interesting way, interesting to see how the population increase because everyone's moving there, and how um, worse or better that the city's response to climate change may be. So yeah, that's kind of all I had this week.